All right, today's lesson is about credit cards. It's the second to last lesson of this topic. On Monday, I'll teach the last thing, which is called lines of credit. And then pretty much from then on, you're revising. You'll do a formative revision test. In week 3, you'll do the practice test, which is closer to the real thing. Tuesday of week 4 will be the summative. And then after that, you're doing linear relationships, which your exam will be on, and that's it. I may never see you again after that if you never do general maths. So credit cards. Credit cards are a way to borrow money. You probably haven't dealt with those. Maybe your parents are. If I can give you a life hack, being somewhat loaded, please don't use a credit card. Although I'll give you suggestions on how to life hack it. Maybe you could. There was one disadvantage to me not using a credit card that I found out when I bought a house. So credit cards are a way that people borrow money that's not theirs. But it can be a trap because they look just like your savings card. So I wish I could show you what a credit card looks like, but I can't because I don't have one. But if you've got a credit card, it will look exactly like this. But see at the top there, it says debit. A credit card will say credit, okay? Debit means that it's your money that you debited into the bank. A credit card, that's not your money, okay? If a credit card says $5,000 on it and it says Bank SA, that's Bank SA's $5,000 that you can use, but if you don't pay back at a certain point in time, you're going to pay interest on what you used, okay? And the interest rates are kind of savage because the interest rates that you've been dealing with on the timeline up until now have been like 5 or 6%. The interest rate that credit cards are going to be is like 16 to 20%, okay? So a full fifth of what you spent on top. So there's some specifics to using credit cards. You get a monthly statement for all your credit purchases in the last 30 days towards the end of each month. And then 25 days on from that statement, you've got to pay it back and you won't pay any interest. So if you're looking into that a bit deeply, consider this. You could buy something really close to the start of the month, like on the first day of the month. You're going to get a statement towards the end of the month. And then from that statement date, you've got another 25 days to pay it back with no interest. So technically, you've got basically 2 months in total to pay back someone else's money before it costs you any more. Okay? I've told you already in this video that it's probably not a good idea to use a credit card, but if you're smart about it, as long as you pay it back within that time, it's not bad. Okay? But just consider these credit card companies continue to exist and make a profit. Their whole business relies on people paying late. And I just looked up. I could show you. I Wikipedia'd, but I see people writing, so I won't. Visa, which is one of the main credit card companies, made like $25 billion in profit when their whole business is literally relying on people to paying 2 months late. They're doing something right and we're doing something wrong. Okay? Also consider the idea that many of you probably have never submitted stuff on time until my class because I'm tough on it. That's probably why the credit companies continue to make money, because people are lazy or people lose track of things. You're focusing on this in blue is what you actually have to deal with mathematics-wise. So the real trick that people are tricked by with credit cards is the purchase date, the first day you don't count. In literally the rest of this whole topic, we've counted 1st of March, 2nd, 3rd. We counted every day. But only for credit cards, we skip the purchase date. So if I bought something on the 1st, I'd go 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. I'd start tracking my counting after the first day. This is the only time you don't count the first day in all of this topic. Every other time that you count days, you're counting the very first day. So be aware of that. People lose marks for that. Second, the interest-free period is the number of days between purchase date and 25 days after the statement date. If you pay late, interest is calculated on the days between the interest-free period and the day you paid it back. You're going to use a simple interest formula, and T is going to be something over 365 like we've done previously. And then lastly, if there's multiple purchases, you have to do the purchases separately. So can you get that box, please? I'll give a solid amount of time for that. And then I need to talk about this note in red because for several years, your textbook was completely wrong. They only fixed it last year. So I need to show you, you're going to have to jump around your little PDF a little bit to get the questions and answers. So just get that blue box and I'll demonstrate this question type. So you notice it's not an ordered set of steps, it's just stuff you have to think about while you're answering this question type. As soon as it says credit cards, you're dealing with this. As soon as it says credit cards, you're not counting the first day. Bubbles. You guys mind if we have like a class party on the last Thursday? Because you're going to have your exam on the Tuesday and there's nothing to do on the Thursday after.
Why not?
Shall I bring donuts?
Sure. If you would like.
Should I bring a Mr. T number of donuts? Or should I bring any other teacher's number of donuts? What should I do? This one? I might have to get a credit card for them. And I'll bring that Rebel bag of lollies as well. I did mention that there's a life hack that you can do with credit cards. When I bought my house, they need evidence of you earning money or a credit history. But because I never owned a credit card, I didn't have a credit history. So I had to collect heaps of old pay slips and stuff to say, look, I'm good for paying you back. But if you got a credit card and you bought something, I don't know, it could be an ice cream or $50 and you paid it back immediately, are you going to have a 100% credit rating? Could you then chop up that credit card and never use it again? There's your life hack there, okay? So if I'd done something like that, then I'd have a credit rating and I'd just be able to buy the house straight up. Or if you're very responsible and you always pay. I've got a free while Mr. Harris's class is running. So I overheard them and one of their students asked, if you've got a savings card, couldn't you transfer your savings card money to the credit card? Yeah, you could, but why don't you just use your own money in the first place? Right? The argument was some of these credit cards have special rewards programs and everything, which, yeah, okay, that's true. Like you could probably use that tactic to take advantage of those points, like free flights and stuff. But those things will get you down the rabbit hole of spending more and more. Oh, I want more points, I'll spend more and more. And then suddenly you're back in a hole, okay? If you can avoid it, please do. The only thing that you should borrow money for is to buy a house, okay? If you can't afford a TV, don't buy it, okay? Buy everything with cash. Your first car should be bought with cash. If you're taking out a loan to buy your first car, my God, what the heck, okay? A couple more minutes to get that blue box, please. For the people that came in later, you've got the lesson blank on day map. But it is important I explain what this red note is because your textbook, well, those authors, they stuff something up. And I'll show you what the textbook looks like. All right, can I just please show you what this red note is? I've given you a PDF, and I'm going to show you that PDF for investing and borrowing. When you get up to credit cards, the exercise that I'm going to teach you today, they published this book like, 7 years ago or something. And they had an example here. The way they taught credit cards was completely wrong, okay? They charged the interest from when you bought the thing, not from the end of the interest-free period. They only corrected it last year, okay? And they sent out a PDF with the corrections in something called an errata. So, for your purposes, you're going to get your questions from here, the normal place, but the answers are on the very last page of your PDF. See how they have a corrected example there? Anything is grey is the same as before. Anything in red is where they effed it up, okay? And then see how their answers are different in red too? So what does it mean to you? You're going to jump around a little bit to get your answers. You don't need this example because I'm giving you an example. That's what I'm here for. I'm your teacher, okay? So just be aware of that. I've written notes there to explain. So let's see the maths of this. The example down here. Louise purchased a laptop for $450 on June 15th. Do you reckon it's important that it was Louise or was it important that it was June 15th? June 15th. So highlight that or underline it. Do you reckon it was important that it was $450? He used a Visa card. That's not important. I don't care. What I care about is the interest rate of 16.9%. He got a statement showing this purchase on June 27th. So you can see you get a statement quite late in the month. And then from June 27th, you've got 25 days until July 22nd to pay it off. Then it's not going to cost you any more. If you pay before July 22, you just have to pay them back $450. If you pay them back after July 22, you're going to pay back $450 plus whatever interest we calculate. Okay? So these are the question types that you'll do. They're very similar to this. What's the effective interest-free period on the laptop? And B, calculate the interest charge if he pays the balance before July 22nd and on July 25th. Can you just get the example down, please? I'll give you time. Can you get the example in blue down, and then we'll do these examples together. Why are you trying to avoid eye contact? No. It wasn't me. Let's find the effective interest-free period on this. There is two ways to deal with this. So I've given you options for how to work this out. I'll show you my preferred way is option 2, but whatever makes sense to you. So what's useful to write down is to remind yourself, when did you buy the thing? Bought on June 15. And you have until, which date do you have until to pay for it without interest? Is it the 27th or is it the 22nd? 22nd. The 22nd. 27th is when you get your statement, and then you got 25 days after that. So 22. So I've got until July 22. That is my interest-free period. But I need to count it. I need to count it with the credit cards method. So I know for a fact that some people like to count it this way. They like to count to the statement date, which was the 27th, right? So count to the statement date June 15 to June 27. Skip the first one. This is the only one where you don't count day one. So June 15, I didn't count. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So yeah, I didn't do the first one. And then we already know how many days after the statement date it is. How many days after the statement date do you go? 25. So plus 25, therefore, what is that? 12 plus 25, 37 days. That's your answer. I have 37 days interest-free to pay it back, and it won't cost me anything extra. The way that makes sense to me is I finish off the month, okay? Because for some reason I like doing that knuckles thing. So we're talking about June 15 to June. How many days are there going to be in June? January, February, March, April, May, June. It's a between, so it's 30. So this is how my mind operates. I don't know why. 15, I didn't count. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I've just counted 15. Plus, if I've got till July 22, July 1st to 22 is 22 days. So plus 22, is that also 37? Yep. So up to you. I'm not going to mark you down either way. They both get you to the same answer. The way that works for my mind is finishing off the month. The way that might work for you is going to the statement date and then adding the 25 on. It really doesn't matter, okay? That's how you count the interest-free period. So 37 days interest-free. 37 days interest-free. What if we're answering B1? If Louise paid before July 22, would he be charged any interest? Yes or no?
None.
No. 0 interest. He paid before July 22. Please don't let me catch you doing maths for a question where you would have no interest. If it's before the date, you won't pay any interest. If he pays on July 25th, though, would he pay interest? Because that's late. So the working out for that would be July 22 to 25. July 22, didn't count. 23, 24, 25. So that is 3 days overdue. So now you use the simple interest formula equals P. How much was the laptop? 450. Times by R, the rate as a decimal. What's 16.9% going to be as a decimal? 0.169 times by the number of days over 365, which is going to be 3 over 365. So grab a calculator for that. No one likes fractions. 3 divided by 365 is a number, times by 0.169, times by 450, 0.63 to 2 decimal points. So that doesn't sound like much. 63 cents in interest. But it's, okay, his laptop's going to cost him $450.63 by paying 3 days overdue. Australia's got a massive problem with